Imagine standing shoulder to shoulder in a sea of tourists, trying to catch a glimpse of something that looked peaceful on Instagram, only to realize that reality is a completely different story. Japan is a country of astonishing beauty and rich culture, but not every popular attraction lives up to its reputation. In fact, some spots are so overrun and overhyped that locals can't help but chuckle at how visitors continue to flock there. The truth is, the most meaningful moments you'll have in Japan won't come from ticking off a list of famous landmarks. They'll come from the quiet trails, the temples with no crowds, and the neighborhood streets where real life unfolds. That's why today, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 of the most overrated tourist spots in Japan. And more importantly, where you can go instead for a richer, more rewarding experience. Whether you're planning your first trip or your 5th, this guide will help you sidestep the tourist traps and discover the places that still hold true magic. Stick around till the end, because spot number 5 is a hidden gem even many Japanese haven't seen, and it just might become your favorite memory. Spot number 1. Mount Fuji climb, the bucket list burnout. There's no doubt that Mount Fuji is an icon. Its graceful cone has adorned postcards and paintings for centuries, and for many visitors, climbing it feels like a spiritual quest, a must-do. But here's the reality. During climbing season, the trails are jam-packed, especially the Yoshida route, which can feel more like waiting in line at an amusement park than a hike up a sacred mountain. The pre-dawn cold bites through your layers, and after all that effort, you may arrive at the summit only to find a blanket of clouds blocking your sunrise. If your heart is set on mountain views without the crowds and exhaustion, locals often prefer Mount Takao or Takaosen, just an hour from Tokyo. It offers several hiking routes ranging from beginner-friendly paved trails to more rugged paths through cedar forests. On clear days, you can even see Mount Fuji from the summit. No climbing gear needed. One of the most enchanting parts of Mount Takao is the Yakuoin Temple, nestled near the top, where pilgrims have gathered for centuries. If you go in autumn, the hillsides explode with color, creating a tapestry of red and gold that rivals Kyoto's famous foliage spots, but without the shoulder-to-shoulder photo crowds. And if you're hiking in summer, reward yourself afterward at the mountain's seasonal beer garden. Yes, you heard that right. Craft beer and panoramic views. Now that's a hike worth taking. Spot number 2. Kinkakuji, Golden Pavilion. Gilded but rushed. Kinkakuji, Kyoto's famous Golden Pavilion, is undeniably photogenic. Wrapped in gold leaf and floating above a mirror-still pond, it looks like something from a dream. But dreams, unfortunately, don't include being shuffled along a rigid path with hundreds of other visitors, unable to pause, reflect, or even catch your breath. The moment feels less like a temple visit and more like being herded through a museum queue with everyone trying to get the same photo. For a more personal and meditative temple experience, head to the quieter Adashino Nenbutsuji and Otaji Nenbutsuji, tucked away in the back corners of Arashiyama. These 2 lesser-known temples are home to thousands of hand-carved stone figures, each with its own quirky expression, some smiling, some solemn, others sticking their tongues out in playful defiance. It's a place that captures not just the solemnity of Buddhism, but the joy and impermanence of life itself. While you're in the area, consider drifting down the Hozugawa River on a traditional wooden boat. You'll glide through misty valleys and forested cliffs, guided by boatmen who've plied these waters for generations. It's a moment of quiet, unfiltered Kyoto, the kind that makes you forget there's a bustling city just beyond the hills. Spot number 3. Takeshita Street, Harajuku. Overpriced and overwhelming, Takeshita Street was once the heart of Tokyo's street fashion scene, a riot of colors, creativity, and youthful energy. Today, it's better known for shoulder-to-shoulder crowds, loud street vendors hawking rainbow cotton candy, and rows of overpriced trinket shops selling the same mass-produced souvenirs. If you're hoping to witness the cutting edge of Tokyo fashion or the subculture magic of yesteryear, Takeshita will likely disappoint. Instead, follow the locals to Shimokitazawa or Koenji, two neighborhoods that still pulse with Tokyo's indie soul. In Shimokitazawa, you'll find cozy cafes tucked into alleyways, walls covered in street art, and thrift shops where young creatives hunt for vintage treasures. The pace here is slower, the fashion more authentic, and the energy more organic. Koenji, on the other hand, has a slightly grittier charm. Known for its underground music venues, record stores, and street murals, it's a place where Tokyo's counterculture still breathes. Visit in the afternoon to catch impromptu performances or browse used bookstores and izakaya that feel like they've been there forever. These areas don't scream for your attention, they invite you in. And that's the difference. Spot number 4. Jigo Kudani Monkey Park. Snow monkeys and shoulder bumps. You've probably seen the photos. Fluffy Japanese macaques soaking in steaming hot springs, their red faces serene amidst the snow. Jigo Kudani Monkey Park in Nagano is where those shots are taken. And yes, it's a unique sight, but getting there is a journey. It takes hours by train and bus, followed by a slippery walk through the forest. And once you arrive, you're often met with thick crowds, people jostling for the perfect picture, and the strange reality of wild monkeys surrounded by clicking cameras. If you're craving a more tranquil hot spring experience, skip the monkeys and head to Tsubame Onsen in Niigata Prefecture. This secluded mountain retreat offers rustic outdoor baths with sweeping alpine views. You might not find macaques, but you'll find peace, real peace. For the adventurous, a short hike leads to Kawara no Yu, a wild open-air onsen tucked away in the forest. There are no fences, no ticket booths, just hot water bubbling from the earth and the sound of wind in the trees. If you can, spend a night in a local ryokan. The food is lovingly prepared, the rooms are lined with tatami, and the quiet is something you'll carry home with you. Spot number 5. Osaka Castle. Modern shell, missing soul. From afar, Osaka Castle is breathtaking, a white and green tower rising above the city skyline. But step inside, and the illusion begins to crack. The castle was rebuilt in the 20th century with modern materials, and today it houses a museum complete with glass panels, escalators, and fluorescent lighting. It's clean, yes, and informative. But for many, it lacks the soul and storytelling that old castles whisper through creaking floorboards and timber walls. Instead, make your way to Matsui Castle, one of only 12 original Japanese castles that remain intact. Standing proudly in the Shimane Prefecture, this historic fortress still has its wooden interiors, narrow staircases, and defensive designs preserved. You don't just visit Matsu Castle, you feel it. The view from the top offers a panorama of Lake Shinji, and the surrounding town moves at a quiet, timeless rhythm. Nearby, you can explore the Lafcadio Hearn Memorial Museum, dedicated to the writer who brought Japan's ghost stories to the Western world. Or glide along the moats on a Horikawa boat cruise, drifting beneath low bridges and weeping willows. It's a side of Japan most tourists never see, but one you'll never forget. The Japan beyond the hashtags, Japan is full of incredible places, but often, the ones that stay with you aren't the ones plastered across travel posters or trending on social media. They're the ones where you breathe deeper, wander slower, and connect more fully with the land, the culture, and the people. Skip the long lines and the loud crowds. Instead, seek out the moments where Japan reveals itself gently. A steaming bowl of ramen in a quiet alley, the hush of a temple garden in winter, or the distant sound of a festival drum echoing through a mountain village. So, tell us, what's the most overrated place you've been to in Japan? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear your take.